Thank you for joining me for this presentation of Grievance Case Number 2, Full Consideration of Seniority and Ability. My name is Heather Shahaki and I'm presenting for Liberty University's Professor Lockhart. Next slide. I will be arguing as the HR manager for the Picasso Paint Company in response to a grievance filed by Robert Elder following the promotion of Mary Younger in a position that he also applied for. My position holds that the company did not violate the collective bargaining agreement held with Lodge 821 of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, or IAM. Next slide. A little background on the case includes that Robert Elder filed this grievance claiming that due consideration to seniority and his experience was not given when Mary Younger was selected for the day shift lead instead of him. The position was created at the request of fellow day shift employees, and both candidates applied and were interviewed by Sharon Murphy, the factory manager. Murphy sought input from Rick Hatch, the employee's direct supervisor, as far as their experience and qualifications, as well as their suitability to such a leadership position. Following the interviews and evaluation, Younger was determined to be the better candidate that was more qualified and suited to the position, so she was given the promotion. Next slide. Key points in this case involve the fact that Elder was the senior employee by approximately 4 years. He held the title of Mechanist First Class and had worked as a shift lead before in the second and third shifts. During his time as a shift leader, he was described as being both fair and responsible, but he lacked communication skills and flexibility, according to Hatch, his supervisor. Younger held the title of Machinist Second Class, but she had been rated for the first class level, but there had never been a position available for her to move into. Younger was evaluated higher in regards to her interpersonal and communication skills, as well as her aptitude for leadership, initiative, and her attitude. The list of skills required for this day shift position was first developed by their fellow employees and then by Sharon Murphy, who found that the two groups agreed on what was necessary for someone to be successful in this position. And the main skills that they both decided were required were flexibility, knowledge, and initiative. Next slide. The contract provisions with IAM dictate that the leader classification positions fall outside of normal posting guidelines according to Section 20.1, and that full consideration to seniority and qualifications of the employees be given in Section 20.4. These are the only guidelines listed related to the promotion of employees to a leader position. Both employees were evaluated equally against the same position qualifications, and Elder did not score equally to Younger in these evaluations. If he had, the seniority clause would dictate that he would be given the position, but with consideration of both factors, Younger was the better candidate. Next slide. The qualification of an employee to be able to teach and lead cannot be determined solely by their seniority, as indicated by studies of teacher unions and groups of that sort. If an employee is to lead others, they need to possess a different set of qualifications, and the qualifications for this position, shift leader position, included the need for others to be able to turn to them for assistance and guidance, and it was determined that Younger showed a greater aptitude for this particular and essential skill over Elder's abilities. Next slide. There's a precedent within the company for less senior employees to be hired over a senior level employee without grievance being filed. And while the senior employee has been promoted more often, this does not necessarily need to be the case. Seniority is a commonly used measure of skill within positions, but after studying both union and non-union workplaces, it is determined that it is not a good factor to determine an individual's merit or productivity. The actual skill level and knowledge is of particular importance to long-term success for a company, particularly in the manufacturing and engineering world, which would include Picasso Paint Company. Next slide. Additional support for my position can be found in research of other workplaces. Seniority can indicate proficiency in a single position, but overall worker performance is shown to increase when employees are flexible and willing to learn new skills. Elder did not show flexibility in his previous time as a shift leader. There is a positive correlation between seniority and qualifications, but the factors must be considered independently. And though Elder was the senior, his qualifications simply were not as well suited to the set of skills required for this position. If the collective and bargaining agreement intended for seniority to be the main or sole source of consideration for promotion, it needed to be indicated in the agreement itself. Next slide. The collective bargaining agreement with IAM did require only that seniority and qualifications be considered, which they were. Both employees were given the same interview process and evaluation from both the same factory manager and supervisor, who determined that Younger was better qualified. Murphy even indicated consideration of seniority in her decision. Without equal qualifications from Elder and Younger, it would be impertinent of management to have promoted Elder solely based on seniority, based on outside evidence that this is not an internal requirement for the position. Thank you for joining me.